Okay.
Go
Thank you
ahead,
all
Allie.
for, okay, thanks, Adam. Thank you all for joining us here today for a Parks Development update from Adam Moore, Milwaukee's Parks Development Coordinator. As a reminder, we're using the last 30 minutes of the monthly PARB meeting for process updates for members of PARB, invited boards and liaisons, and the public on the development of Bowman, Bray, Balfour, and Scott Parks. This item is informational only, and a larger public engagement opportunities with the community will be scheduled at other times and shared with this group and posted on the city website. Members of the community are welcome to listen into PARB meetings here about important upcoming dates and processes, and can email any questions to parkprojects@milwaukieoregon.gov for staff to follow up with them. We appreciate the interest and participation from everyone present and encourage them to stay engaged as the parks development process proceeds. Parks updates can also be found at milwaukieoregon.gov/park projects. Questions asked the staff at tonight's meeting may require staff to follow up individually or at the next month's meeting. Questions may be sent to staff ahead of PARB meetings, and staff will be attempt to answer them at the upcoming meetings. Specific requests related to boards, commissions, and associations may require a special meeting with that group to address. Please reach out to staff to discuss. These meetings will be recorded and available on the city's YouTube channel.
Okay, so we had a very busy couple months, PARB and everyone else. So we started off our engagement in this last round at Balfour Park on a 94-degree evening. And despite the heat, we had 62 people come. We had 49 surveys filled out online, 49 filled out in person and 71 filled out online. And of the people that came to the meeting, 45% of them said that they were brand new to the planning process. And that's a number that I'm really proud of, because we said from the beginning of this project that we wanted to involve new people. And also this park does have an existing plan. So that's, a bunch more people who didn't get a chance to participate 7 or 8 years ago for whatever reason. So really happy with those numbers. Bowman Bray, we needed to reschedule to August 6th due to the heat. But even though we rescheduled, we did have 55 people in attendance. 42 of those people said that they were new to the planning process here in Milwaukee. So another number that I'm really proud of. At that meeting, we received 36 surveys and then another 52 surveys online. Then next, we had a planning meeting for Scott Park that was held on August 4th, Thursday night. This was kind of a two-part meeting. We gave a presentation on 2 concept plans and answered questions from the community. And then we went outside to the library there, and we filled out surveys and took a look at project boards. So over the course of those 2 parts, we had 58 people who attended. We received 32 in-person surveys. And then online, people really got involved. We had over 100 online surveys about Scott Park. So we're getting a lot of really interesting feedback on all 3 of those parks. We did have a public meeting that was designed to be a PARB meeting on Monday, August 15th. However, there was some trouble with people getting online. There was some confusion that was caused by myself by accident there about how to receive the information when I sent out the meeting information early so that you would have it to look at before the meeting. That came through a separate website. And I think that some people were confused about whether or not the meeting was on Zoom. And so I do apologize about that. But Allie and Virginia and I and Natalie had a really great presentation and conversation about Scott Park. That conversation was recorded and we will post it on the city website. And I do just want to be really clear with you all. I am available to talk about Scott Park. I'm available to talk about Bowman Bray Park. I'm available to talk about Balfour Park. So whether you're a member of PARB, whether you're a member of another board or committee, if you've got questions or concerns about this project, please call me, email me. Actually, email is the best way to get a hold of me, but I would love to talk to you all about this project. My phone doesn't ring very often, so please reach out if you've got questions. We also had a couple focus groups. So we had a focus group on July 13th. We had 13 people attend a focus group for the Spanish speaking community. That conversation went really, really well, is my understanding. Our consultants hosted it and will provide us with a summary, which I will have for you all at the next PARB meeting. We were also supposed to do a focus group in English with the BIPOC community. However, we were having a hard time getting a lot of people to confirm their availability. And because reaching out to our BIPOC community is so important and at the heart of this project, we made a decision to reschedule. And so what we were hearing from a lot of people is that, hey, July and August is a really hard time to do a focus group for us. So we have decided to reschedule that until September 8th. If there's anyone who's interested in participating in a BIPOC focus group, please reach out to me or John Hennington, our Equity Steering Committee member, and we will make sure that we get you involved. We're trying to keep this to be a real intimate sort of conversation. So we're trying to limit that to 12 to 15 people, but right now we do have a lot of room. So if you're interested in attending, please reach out to me. And then on July 20th, we had our first of what is now going to be 2 conversations with people with disabilities. Again, what we're finding is that, you know, July and August is a hard time to do focus groups. It's also what we're hearing from people in the disabled community is that having a set meeting time can sometimes be really difficult, or that they have very busy schedules. And so what we are doing is we are having follow-up interviews and surveys. Some of these are happening over the phone. Some of these are happening online. And then we are reaching out to more people, providing questions ahead of time. And then we're going to have a second focus group on September 7th. And other city staff, such as John Hennington, have been really, really helpful in helping us really work through the network and get more people involved. And we're looking for, you know, people with disabilities or their families. So whether you're a parent of a child with a disability, or you're a caretaker of somebody with a disability, or whether you have a disability yourself, and however you define that, please reach out to us if you'd like to participate in these focus groups. And then finally, and most importantly, I just want to mention again that we have coming in October a very, very important engagement period. If you want to be involved in this project, if you care about the future of these parks, the most important time for you to get involved is right now, but specifically between October 6th and October 19th. On October 6th, we will have a planning meeting for Scott Park. On Thursday, October 13th, we will have one for Belfour Park. Monday, October 17th, we will have one for Bowman Bray. All 3 of these meetings will be at the Letting Library. They will all be between 6 and 8 p.m. We will provide dinner at each of these meetings. And we will have Spanish interpretation available at the meeting. If you need interpretation in other languages, please reach out to me or the city, and we can provide that. All of the meeting information that we will have, as always, will both be in English and Spanish. So again, and this is already on our website, it's already on the event calendar, and I will send this all out to you in an email. But Scott Park, Thursday, October 6th, Belfour, Thursday, October 13th, Bowman Bray, Monday, October 17th. Those are all at the Letting Library, all at the same time. We will be sending out a postcard to the entire zip code and to the UGMA, and letting everyone know that they can participate in these 3 meetings, or they can fill out a survey online. And those surveys will all be on Engage Milwaukie at the same time between October 6th and the 19th. And as PARB just decided, there will be a special PARB meeting starting at 4:30. This will be a longer park meeting dedicated to these 3 parks, where I will give presentations on each of the 3 parks. We will look at revised plans for Bowman Bray, revised plans for Belfour, and 2 revised concept plans for Scott Park, and answer any of your questions. So again, if you have questions about this project, if you want to get involved, please reach out to me, send me an email, or come to one of these 4 meetings. Super important. And then finally, for the update, I'll mention again that we have a playground design presentation coming up. This is going to be on Thursday, September 22nd, between 5:30 and 6:30 on Zoom. You'll find the information and a link on it on the city's website. This is going to be a presentation about playground design in general. We're not going to look at any of the 3 parks that I'm mentioning, but we are going to have experts come in from our consulting team, and Ben Johnson, our PARB president, PARB chair, I guess I should say, is also going to be presenting, and we are going to cover topics such as playground safety, inclusive play, sensory-based play, nature-based play, and regular kind of traditional playground structures. And the intention of this presentation is to inform city decision makers, stakeholders like yourselves, the general public, and perhaps city council members on the benefits and pros and cons, the costs, the maintenance, the safety of these different play concepts. We've been hearing a lot about universal play or sensory-based play and nature-based play in this project from all of you. And we want to make sure that everybody kind of has a full understanding of what those concepts means, or at least everyone's starting at the same level. That's one of the ways that we want to help you all provide informed feedback to us as a city and to city council on these plans. And it's also a way that we can help bring equity into this program. As you all know, equity is at the heart of our grant and at the heart of this program. And we want to make sure that we provide some of this educational opportunities where we can, to make sure that people can really have a good understanding of what we're doing. And lastly, I'm just going to mention that I have a city council update. There will be a half an hour update, kind of a high level look at where this project has been. And that will be on September 20th at the council work session. It'll be about a half an hour. You can find information on that at the city's website. And with that, I am all done. And we've got about 8 minutes left for questions from PARB. And it looks like we've only got PARB members in there. And Heather or Peter, if you've got anything to add or questions, I'll answer those as well. Alex, looks like you had to change a location there.
I figured I should probably remove any distractions from the background.
Adam, I just wanted to say that the work you're doing is really important, and I know firsthand what that's like in a short amount of time. So kudos to you for doing this. It's a true public service. One thing that came to mind, just because of projects in the past, is if there are ways you're looking to recruit volunteers. In the past, PARB has been a great, arm extending the reach into members of the community who might be able to volunteer when you need volunteers. So I just want to throw that out there, knowing that person power is sometimes critical of these events, and you may have people who might be more than willing. So I'll just throw that out there as an idea. No pressure.
Thank you. And I also just want to say thank you. Virginia did volunteer at the Bowman Bray open house. Councilman Nicodemus was one of a few council people at the Belfour open house. So we have been getting support. We can always use a little bit more. But really, I think the best way for PARB to be involved right now is to spread this information to the community, is to be involved, is to ask questions, right? As I was saying earlier in the meeting, our work is only as good as a conversation that you all create, right? We are just facilitators in all of this. That is my role as a planner, is just to make sure that you have opportunities and the information that we have. And I need you all, as our main stakeholders in PARB, to like really kind of carry the torch on this. Because man, I'll make whatever kind of park you guys want me to make. But It's my job to inform those decisions and help you make those and give you the opportunities to tell me what you want. So, talk to your neighbors, whether they live in Milwaukee or not. Like, we would like to hear from them. Our parks are for everybody. If you're in the district, if you're in the county, if you're in the state, our parks are for all of you. So please come talk to us. Please fill out our online surveys. Give me a call. Get involved. I think we're getting a lot of feedback here, and we're getting to the point where we're going to have to start making some tough decisions. Kind of to that point, I will say that I have seen a number of surveys from one park in particular that mentioned a splash pad. I will add just kind of at the end of this update, to all of you who have questions about splash pads, I will say a couple things. First and foremost, there's a splash pad in the design for Milwaukie Bay Park already. But splash pads are pretty unique. And the first thing I'll say is that splash pads take up a lot of space. And for example, at Belfour Park, we've been asked to save as many trees as possible. And so if you wanted a splash pad at Belfour Park, I would ask you, what do we remove if we're not removing trees, right? What are we taking out of that 2015 plan right now? Also, splash pads are very expensive, right? One of the comments mentioned Happy Valley's splash pad. That splash pad adjusted for inflation would be about $400,000. That's 40% of our budget for Belfour Park alone. So my question is, again, this is about trade-offs. So where would you want me to take that money from to make a splash pad at Belfour Park? Also keep in mind, when it comes to cost with splash pads, we're not just paying for the equipment, we're paying for the maintenance and the water, right? So we'd be paying for water going into the splash pad. We'd be paying for water going into the sanitary sewer coming out of the splash pad. And yes, that water does need to go into the sanitary sewer because there are sometimes outbreaks of waterborne illness, which is a big concern of Peter. As a water provider, we are concerned about that for everyone's safety. And so we would pay a fee for that water twice. So that's something to keep in mind. Also, a lot of the comments about splash pads mention, I have to drive 15 or 20 minutes today to go to a splash pad. And so my question is, like, if you're at Belfour Park or Bowman Bray Park, these small neighborhood parks that don't have parking lots, they're in pretty tight neighborhoods, there isn't a whole lot of street parking. These aren't very big parks. Do you want your park to be a destination park? Because just like you're driving 15 or 20 minutes away to go to Happy Valley, or maybe hopefully Milwaukie Bay Park, people will drive to your neighborhood and to that park. And so that is the decision that you all have to make. And so, like I said, if the people of Milwaukee want a splash pad at Bowman Bray Park or Belfour Park or Scott Park, like, we can have a discussion about that. But I want you all to have like an informed conversation and understand that there are trade-offs here with space, with money, with maintenance, with utilities, and with people coming into your neighborhood and sharing your park with you. So those are some things to kind of keep in mind there. I'm not here to make those decisions, but I would leave it maybe to PARB right now at the end of this update to maybe have a discussion about whether they think that that's something appropriate to have at Bowman Bray Park or Belfour Park, or do we maybe focus more on neighborhood entities? Again, we don't have to make a decision tonight, but we can have the discussion. And that's all I've got for this month.
Adam, do you have something already pre-written in regards to disseminating this information? Because like, I'm a part of Nextdoor, for example, I have no problem making a post, but if there's something that's already written or already exists, that would be great, just to make sure that the information is coherent and consistent. If not, that's something that I think you and I could probably work on together.
Which information on, like, splash pads?
Not necessarily splash pads, but like just information in terms of getting the word out to increase participation on the meetings and in the discussions, like the dates that you had mentioned previously. Because I can definitely help with that, but I just want to make sure that whatever information I were to post on my account is going to be consistent and accurate.
Yeah.
But I do agree that increased participation and hearing as many voices is probably one of the most essential parts of creating these parks, because like you beautifully stated, it's for everyone, and we do have equity at our focus. And so trying to get as many voices to participate and share their perspective is probably going to be the hardest, but most important part of moving forward in the process. So
Yes,
Yeah.
so on that point, so the postcard that I mentioned that we're gonna be mailing out, we are having a couple hundred extra made up. And we are ordering those early, so we'll have postcards to post out. We'll have the image of the postcard to share, and I will share that all with you digitally. And you can share that to your heart's content. And like I said, we'll also write all this up and share it with you. In fact, I've got notes on this update, and I can just kind of submit that to whoever's taking notes, and they can pull right out of there for the meeting minutes.
thanks, Adam.
Hi, Heather.
Just a question, will you also be sharing it with Jason for the NDA weekly update? Because that seems to get out to a lot of people also.
Yeah, so Jason does a really great job of checking in with me every week. And as I mentioned, a lot of these dates are already on the city calendar. I know that like in May and June, things were kind of coming fast and furious, and there was like some confusion over exactly when things were going to be. We had a lot of tentative dates there, but that's just because, you know, in addition to the engagement, right, we have arborists, we have engineers, we have surveyors, we got a lot of stuff going on in the background right now. And when we're able to have the conversation about some of these things depends on the work that's going on in the background too. So, you know, it's only really been this last 6 weeks or so that we had like a really tight calendar and knew exactly when we were ready to kind of have these conversations. It's been really unique for me because I'm used to being able to kind of go with the flow and say, hey, we need to have another conversation about this. We're going to kind of hit pause and work on this plan a little bit more. But because we just have this use it or lose it money that comes with these really, really tight deadlines, you know, and because, right, we've said we've got to get these plans to the council in December. This is kind of what comes from it. So all of this is set and ready to go. And that's why I've been trying to, over the last couple of months, have these conversations with you, PARB, about like, hey, these are the windows that are available. I know they're not very long. I know they're coming fast and furious, but I think the community has responded really, really well. You know, and we're getting a lot of new people. And I think that our demographic numbers are pretty close to city representation, but I won't really know that until after I have those like full summary reports, and I won't have those for like another week or two. Anybody else got any questions? Okay, well, so the next time that you all will see me is, hold on, we will have a city council update on the 20th, and then a playground presentation on the 22nd, and then a longer PARB meeting and update on the 28th. So that's all I've got. Thanks.
Bye.
You're muted, Adam. Sorry.